The Zelvari Empire had conquered thousands of worlds. Their war machine was unstoppable, armadas of world ships blotting out the skies, plasma bombardments reducing entire civilizations to rubble. They had crushed species far older, far more advanced than the ones on the outer rim. And Earth? It wasn't even considered a threat. To the Zelvari, humans were primitive, their homeworld was isolated, untouched by interstellar politics and technologically backward. No energy-based weapons, no planetary shields, no hyperdrives. The invasion was supposed to be routine. But the Zelvari had made one fatal mistake. They assumed Earth would fall like all the others. The first strike ***. The attack began at dawn. Orbital bombardments rained from the sky, turning cities into infernos. The Zelvari descended in massive drop ships, towering insectoid warriors swarming the streets of every major human city. Their translators blared the same message across every broadcast frequency. Humanity, your world belongs to the Zelvari Empire. Submit or be exterminated. It was meant to break the human spirit. Instead, ***, it ignited something else, ***. The resistance begins. By midday, the first Zelvari command post in New York had been destroyed. Not by laser weapons. Not by tanks or fighter jets. By ordinary civilians. They had ambushed the invaders, Molotov cocktails rained from rooftops. Snipers with hunting rifles targeted Zelvari officers. Homemade explosives turned their supply convoys into fireballs. It wasn't war as the Zelvari understood it. It was chaos. And it spread. From London to Beijing, from the Amazon to the Siberian tundra. Humans fought back, not in organized battalions, not in neat formations. They fought like hunters, like survivors, like apex predators. The Zelvari expected submission. What they got was hell. The first major defeat. By nightfall, the Zelvari panicked. They had underestimated the humans, but worse, they had underestimated human adaptability. Within hours, resistance cells were coordinating over civilian internet networks. Militias formed using stolen Zelvari weapons. Human engineers reverse-engineered their plasma rifles in real time, turning their own technology against them. Cities they thought conquered? Lost overnight, ***. One by one, their forward operating bases collapsed. The final blow came when a single captured Zelvari warship, hijacked by a group of NASA scientists, Air Force pilots, and 2 hackers from a basement in Texas, breached their fleet's command vessel in orbit. The humans didn't negotiate. They detonated the entire ship. And in that moment, the Zelvari learned something no species in the galaxy had ever realized before, ***. Humans weren't primitive. They were predators. And this war? It had only just begun. The Zelvari High Command had never been humiliated like this before. Their empire had existed for over 10,000 years, spanning thousands of star systems. No species had ever rebelled successfully after being invaded. The standard procedure was simple. Bombard, deploy ground forces, and within hours the planet belonged to the Empire. But Earth was different. What should have been a swift conquest had turned into an outright bloodbath. Entire battalions wiped out in urban warfare. Their fleets crippled by human ingenuity. The very idea that an uncontacted species, a race that had never even left its own solar system, had managed to reverse-engineer Zelvari weapons in less than 24 hours? It was unthinkable. And worse? The rest of the galaxy had just found out. The broadcast that shook the stars. Across the known universe, alien civilizations tuned in to the most shocking transmission in history. Hacked from a captured Zelvari warship, the human message spread like wildfire across every galactic network. This is Earth. We are not surrendering. If you come for us, bring your best. And dig your own graves. The footage that followed was horrifying. Grainy video of humans, ordinary civilians, tearing through Zelvari forces, using nothing but guerrilla tactics. Human snipers taking down commanders, homemade explosives ripping apart alien tanks, captured Zelvari ships being turned against their own fleets. The galaxy watched in horror. And in fascination. Because no species had ever fought like this. Not with this kind of raw brutality. Not with this kind of sheer defiance. Allies, enemies, and those who feared Earth. The moment the broadcast ended, 3 things happened across the galaxy. 1. Some species wanted Earth dead immediately, The Zelvari weren't the only empire watching. Other galactic powers, the Zorvan hegemony, the Qatari Dominion, the Silos Alliance, All had the same reaction. Humans were a threat. If Earth had figured out how to defeat an advanced invasion force in less than a day, what would happen if they were given time? Given access to real technology? Given a reason to retaliate? Their leaders met in secret, debating whether to preemptively destroy Earth before humans became an unstoppable force. #####2. Some species wanted Earth as an ally. Not everyone feared humans. Some, like the Ardent Confederacy, a rebellion fighting against Zelvari rule, saw hope. If the humans can break the Zelvari, one of their generals said, they can break the whole empire. Within hours, clandestine messages were sent to Earth. Weapons, ships, information. If the humans wanted a war, the Ardent were ready to give them everything they needed. ####3. Some species just watched. The oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy, the ones who had always assumed humanity was too primitive to be worth noticing, now had a new perspective. If humans had done this much damage with almost no resources, what would they become in 10 years? In 100? Would they become the galaxy's greatest hope? Or its greatest nightmare? Earth prepares for the counterattack. Back on Earth, humanity had no time to celebrate. The Zelvari had retreated, but they would return, and this time, they wouldn't make the mistake of underestimating Earth. So humans did what they did best. They adapted. Captured Zelvari warships were stripped down and rebuilt into Earth's first interstellar fleet. Scientists worked around the clock, deciphering alien technology at breakneck speeds. Weapons were being modified, factories repurposed, soldiers trained. The next time the Zelvari came, Earth wouldn't just defend itself. Earth would go to war. The Zelvari didn't wait long. Barely a week after their failed invasion, their main battle fleet, one that had conquered 100 worlds, returned to Earth. This time they weren't taking chances. No demands. No warnings. No attempts at subjugation. This was an extermination mission. The Zelvari believed humans had simply been lucky the first time. That their resistance was a fluke, nothing more than desperate animals clawing for survival. They were about to learn, humans weren't just survivors, they were hunters. ###Earth's Last Stand? Massive Zelvari warships, each one the size of a city, descended from the sky. Their ion lances turned the clouds red with fire. Thousands of drop pods rained from orbit, unleashing hordes of elite shock troops. But Earth was not the same world they had invaded last week. The first time humans had been caught off guard. This time, they were waiting. The ambush that shattered the Zelvari. As the first wave of Zelvari forces hit the ground, something wasn't right. The humans weren't there. Cities that should have been crawling with resistance fighters were silent. Roads were empty. Buildings abandoned. It was as if humanity had simply vanished. For the first time the Zelvari hesitated. And then, it began. The streets exploded beneath them. Hundreds of underground tunnels, hand-dug by human engineers over the past week, detonated in synchronized precision. High-rise buildings collapsed on top of Zelvari troops, entire platoons buried alive. And before the dust had even settled, the real attack started. From hidden bunkers, surface-to-orbit missiles streaked toward the Zelvari fleet in low orbit, ripping through their warships before they could raise their shields. Their command ship, the heart of the invasion, was the first to go. It took the Zelvari exactly 5 minutes to realize what was happening. This wasn't a last stand. This was a trap. The hunters had become the hunted. The first human warfleet takes flight. For the first time in history, Earth launched its own fleet. Using captured Zelvari warships, rebuilt with human ingenuity. Earth's first combat squadrons took to the skies. Fighter pilots who had never flown outside Earth's atmosphere before now piloted hybrid alien-human starfighters. Their weapons? Zelvari plasma cannons, modified for human hands, Their first target? The Zelvari rear fleet. They struck like predators, using Earth's own atmospheric conditions to mask their movements. Zelvari commanders, who had studied the tactics of every species they had ever conquered, couldn't predict what came next, because no species had ever fought like humans. Zelvari warships expected clean, strategic battles. They expected well-disciplined, orderly engagements. They got none of that. What they got was ambushes, deception, unpredictability. What they got was warfare as humans had perfected it over thousands of years. What they got was annihilation. ### The Zelvari retreat. Again. The once mighty Zelvari battle fleet burned in Earth's skies. What remained of their forces tried to flee. Some of them didn't make it. The few ships that escaped Earth's gravity jumped to hyperspace, rushing back to the Zelvari High Command. But what they reported was impossible. A primitive world, one with no prior interstellar presence, no formal military fleet, no technology beyond nuclear weapons. **** had just destroyed one of the most powerful armadas in the Empire. ***. The war was no longer about conquest. The war was about fear. And the entire galaxy had just witnessed Earth's rise. ###. Earth is no longer prey. As Earth's first victory celebrations swept across the planet, the leaders of the world looked beyond the stars. They knew the truth. This wasn't over. The Zelvari would return. But next time it wouldn't be Earth on the defensive. Next time humanity was taking the fight to them. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 1,000 species had gathered, some appearing through holograms, others standing in their floating observation platforms. The circular chamber, usually a place of cold diplomacy and rigid bureaucracy, now roared with argument. Because something had happened. Something no species had ever seen before. The Zelvari Empire had been defeated. By humans. A species so technologically backward they hadn't even achieved interstellar flight on their own, a species that, by all accounts, should have been crushed in a matter of hours. And yet, the Zelvari fleet, one of the most powerful in the known galaxy, had been shattered. It wasn't just a loss. It was humiliation. The Zelvari warlord stood at the center of the chamber, his towering insectoid form barely concealing his rage. His mandibles clicked, his bioluminescent eyes flashing dangerously. "This is an aberration," he hissed. The humans were supposed to be prey. Across the chamber, a tall, serpentine ambassador from the Ardent Confederacy let out a rasping laugh. "Prey," she said. "They just wiped out your war fleet." The Zorvan hegemony representative, a cold-blooded reptilian being, flicked his tongue in irritation. "This cannot be ignored," he growled. "If humans could destroy the Zelvari fleet, they could pose a threat to all of us." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. That was the real concern. It wasn't just about Earth anymore. It was about what humanity might become. ###. The three reactions to Earth's rise. As the debate raged, three major factions formed among the council. ###. 1. The terrified ones. ***. Some species wanted Earth destroyed immediately. "If humans are this dangerous now," an amphibian diplomat croaked, "what happens in a decade, in a century? We must act before they become a true interstellar power." The Qatari Dominion even suggested a joint invasion fleet, one that would wipe out humanity before they could ever leave their own system. ###. 2. The opportunists. Others wanted to ally with Earth. The Ardent Confederacy, a coalition of species resisting the Zelvari Empire, saw hope. "If the humans can break the Zelvari, they can break the Empire," their ambassadors said. "They are not our enemies. They are our greatest weapon." In secret, messages were already being sent to Earth. Weapons. Intelligence. Technology. ***. If humans were willing to fight, the Confederacy would arm them. ###. 3. The observers. And then there were those who simply watched. The oldest and most powerful civilizations, the ones who had long stayed neutral in galactic affairs, were now paying attention. The Vailari Ascendancy, the Silos High Council, the enigmatic Kivanii scholars, all species that had ignored humanity before, were now watching Earth very, very closely. Because if humans had done this much damage with nothing, what would they become with real power? ###. Meanwhile, on Earth. Back on Earth, humanity was not waiting for an answer. For the first time in history, Earth's leaders were united. Not as nations. Not as governments. As a species. The surviving Zelvari warships had been captured, reverse-engineered, and rebuilt. Factories that once produced cars and aircraft were now producing warships. Scientists worked tirelessly, deciphering alien technology at a pace that should not have been possible. Humanity had always been fast learners. Now, they had a reason to learn. And the next time the Zelvari came, it wouldn't be Earth on the defensive. It would be Earth leading the charge. ###. The war spreads beyond Earth. The Zelvari couldn't ignore their defeat. Their war fleets were already preparing a second invasion, one that would erase humanity before they became too powerful. But the humans weren't waiting. For the first time in history, Earth's first interstellar fleet, built from captured Zelvari technology, *** was ready to launch ***. Their first target? Not just defending Earth. Humanity was going to war. The first human interstellar war fleet had been born. What had once been scrap and stolen alien warships was now something far deadlier. Rebuilt. Modified. Enhanced ***. For the first time in history, humanity was not defending Earth. They were taking the fight to the stars. ### Operation Retribution. The target was Drekthal Prime, a heavily fortified Zelvari colony world. It wasn't just a random choice. It was a symbol. Drekthal Prime had been the launching point for dozens of Zelvari conquests. From here, entire civilizations had been enslaved. Now, it would be the first world liberated by humans. ### The invasion begins. The Zelvari planetary defense network was state-of-the-art. Shielded turrets, orbital battle stations, and thousands of Zelvari warships patrolled the planet's skies. They were prepared for any enemy, except for humans. The invasion force wasn't conventional. It wasn't clean. It was human ingenuity and brutality at its finest. Zelvari air defense grids were hijacked before the first shot was even fired. Human stealth teams had infiltrated the surface days before the attack, planting explosives in key locations. Captured Zelvari warships, now piloted by human crews, sent false identification codes, slipping past enemy defenses before turning their guns on them. And when the first human assault dropships landed, the entire planet erupted in chaos. ### No rules. No mercy ***. Humanity's ground forces were unlike anything the Zelvari had ever encountered. They had fought trained soldiers before. They had never fought guerrilla warfare on this scale. The first wave of human troops didn't just charge into battle. They hunted. They turned the cities into traps, every street, every alley, a potential ambush point. They used human creativity in ways the Zelvari couldn't predict. They had adapted captured plasma weapons, making them more efficient, deadlier. Zelvari commanders had no idea what they were fighting. To them this wasn't war. It was a massacre. And for the first time in history, ***, they were the prey ***. ### The first major victory. By the time the Zelvari High Command realized what was happening, it was too late. Drekthal Prime's defenses collapsed. A single human fleet, one that shouldn't have existed, had wiped out an entire Zelvari colony. The remaining Zelvari forces fled, their warships burning in orbit. And when the human flag was planted on Zelvari soil, the entire galaxy felt the impact. ### The Galactic Power Shift. The war was no longer about Earth. It was about something bigger. Humanity had proven it wasn't just defending itself. It was capable of conquest. It was capable of winning. And now, the galaxy had to decide. Would they join humanity? Or try to stop them before it was too late? The fall of Drekthal Prime sent shockwaves across the galaxy. For the first time in history, a species that had never even left its own solar system had successfully invaded an alien world. The Zelvari High Command, which had once considered Earth a minor, primitive world, now faced a terrifying truth. Humanity wasn't just resisting. They were expanding. And the rest of the galaxy had to decide, ***, was Earth a potential ally? Or the greatest threat in history? ***. ### The Zelvari's desperate response. The Zelvari Empire had ruled unchallenged for millennia. Their war machine had crushed civilizations older and more advanced than humanity. But this was different. This wasn't a war of conquest anymore. This was a war of survival. Within hours of losing Drekthal Prime, the Zelvari Emperor personally convened an emergency war council. The meeting, held aboard the Empire's most secure war station, was broadcast across every Zelvari-controlled system. The Emperor's voice, usually calm and calculated, was laced with fury. The humans have crossed the line. This is no longer an insurgency. This is war. A war they cannot be allowed to win. His next words sent a chill through the Empire. Deploy the eradication fleets. Earth is to be burned. The eradication fleets were the Zelvari's final solution. They weren't meant for conquest. They were meant for extinction. And now, Earth was their next target. But what the Emperor didn't know was that humanity had already anticipated this move. And they were ready. ### The Galactic Council's divided reaction. While the Zelvari prepared for war, the rest of the galaxy was panicking. The Galactic Council, which had long dismissed humanity as a non-factor, was now forced to take a side. For the first time in centuries, their entire chamber was filled with chaos. ######## The factions form. In the wake of Earth's shocking victory, the Council fractured into three clear factions. 1. The War Hawks, those who believed humanity must be stopped immediately. Led by the Zorvan hegemony and the Qatari Dominion, they feared that if humans were allowed to advance further, they could become the greatest military force the galaxy had ever seen. Their argument? If they can take Drekthal Prime now, imagine what they'll take in a century. 2. The Opportunists, those who saw humanity as a weapon against the Zelvari. The Ardent Confederacy, a rebellion fighting against Zelvari control, immediately sent secret messages to Earth offering weapons, intelligence, and resources. Their view? Let the humans fight our war for us. 3. The Observers, the ancient, advanced civilizations who simply watched. The enigmatic Velari Ascendancy, the Silos High Council, and the Kavanii scholars had ignored Earth for centuries. But now, they were watching humanity very, very closely. The council session lasted for days, but in the end, no decision was made. The only certainty was that humanity was no longer invisible. And for the first time in history, the Galactic Council feared a pre-FTL civilization. ##### Earth's next move. Back on Earth, there was no celebration. The fall of Drekthal Prime had been a victory, but everyone knew the war wasn't over. The Zelvari would come back. So humanity did what they did best. They prepared. In just a few short months, Earth had transformed into something unrecognizable. Captured Zelvari technology was being reverse-engineered at breakneck speed. Factories once used for cars and aircraft were now producing warships. A new military doctrine was formed, one that took the best of human warfare and combined it with alien technology. Earth was no longer just a planet, it was a fortress, and when the Zelvari came back, they wouldn't find a defenseless world. They would find a species ready for war. ##### The Eradication Fleet arrives. The Zelvari Eradication Fleet entered the Sol system under full stealth. Their plan was simple. Strike before humanity expected it. Burn Earth to the ground. Wipe out the species before they became an unstoppable force. But there was one problem. Humanity had been expecting them. The moment the first Zelvari warships decloaked, Earth's orbital defenses activated. The sky above Earth erupted in fire. Planetary defense platforms rained down plasma fire. Human warships, built from captured Zelvari wreckage, struck from hidden positions. Experimental human fighters, outfitted with stolen alien tech, outmaneuvered the Zelvari's best pilots. The Zelvari had believed humanity's victory at Drekthal Prime was a fluke. Now, they realized it was only the beginning. For the first time in recorded history, an eradication fleet was losing ****. And when Earth's counteroffensive began, the Zelvari knew they had made a terrible mistake. ##### The final transmission from Earth. As the battle raged above Earth, a single transmission was sent across the galaxy. It was a message for every species watching. A simple statement. A warning. A promise. You thought we were primitive? You thought we were prey? You were wrong. We are human. And this war? This war belongs to us now. And for the first time in history, the galaxy listened. Because humanity was no longer fighting for survival. They were fighting to win. The Zelvari Eradication Fleet had entered Sol with one goal. To wipe humanity from existence. Instead, they were being annihilated. The battle over Earth had escalated into something the Zelvari had never prepared for. Their warships, once thought unstoppable, were being torn apart by human ingenuity, ruthless adaptability, and a sheer unwillingness to die. But Earth wasn't just defending itself anymore. It was preparing to strike back. ##### The battlefield above Earth. The moment the first Zelvari dreadnoughts appeared, Earth's forces did not wait for them to attack. Instead, humanity launched the counteroffensive immediately. From hidden orbital stations and deep space defense platforms, Earth's first fleet emerged from the dark. Their ships were smaller than the Zelvari's, not as advanced and lacking traditional shields. But that didn't matter. They moved faster. They hit harder. They fought like humans, unpredictable, relentless, brutal. And they had one advantage that no other species in the galaxy had ever dared to try. ##### The first human interstellar boarding action. The Zelvari had never encountered enemy soldiers willing to fight in space. Their doctrine dictated that war was fought from warships, ships firing at each other until one side was destroyed. Humans? They ignored those rules. Instead of simply engaging the Zelvari fleet from a distance, Earth's forces boarded their capital ships. ####the UNS Retribution and the Impossible Assault. One of Earth's largest captured Zelvari warships, the UNS Retribution ***, led the charge. Its human-modified engines burned hot, driving it straight toward the Zelvari fleet's flagship, the Dominance. The Zelvari did not expect this. "Human vessel, halt your approach or be destroyed," the Zelvari fleet commander barked over the comms. The human response? Not today. The Retribution slammed into the Dominance's side. Shock troops, Marines, and cyber warfare specialists deployed directly into the enemy ship. And for the first time in Zelvari history, they were being hunted inside their own command vessel. What followed was a massacre. Zelvari warriors, trained for open battlefield combat, were not prepared for brutal, close-quarters fighting. They had never fought an enemy like this. The humans moved through the ship like phantoms, setting traps, using their environment, turning every corridor into a battleground. They took no prisoners. Within 40 minutes, the Zelvari flagship was lost. And when the Retribution sent out a simple transmission, ***, enemy vessel secured, ***, the Zelvari fleet panicked. ###the retreat of the eradication fleet. The impossible had happened. A species the Zelvari considered primitive had not only survived an eradication fleet, they had obliterated it. The Zelvari commanders did something unthinkable. They retreated. Zelvari warships turned from battle, their engines burning toward the nearest jump point. But humanity wasn't letting them go. For the first time in history, Earth's fleet pursued. No longer fighting for survival. Now humanity was hunting. ###, the Galactic Council watches in shock. The moment the Zelvari fleet began their retreat, the news swept through the galaxy. From the highest halls of the Galactic Council, to the farthest outer rim colonies, every species was now watching. Because Earth had just done something no species had ever done. They had beaten an empire. And they were not stopping. Some species wanted to destroy humanity before they could grow stronger. Others? They wanted to join them. The Ardent Confederacy, one of the few galactic factions actively fighting against Zelvari rule, ***, sent an immediate message to Earth ***. We were alone in this war. Not anymore. The Qatari Dominion, a brutal warrior race, sent a message of their own. Perhaps the humans are not as weak as we thought. And the Valari Ascendancy, one of the most advanced and mysterious civilizations, made their first move in 1,000 years. They sent a single transmission. A simple message. Humanity, we are watching. ###, Earth prepares to invade. Back on Earth, there was no celebration. Humanity had won the battle. But they knew the war wasn't over. If the Zelvari had sent one eradication fleet, they could send more. So humanity prepared. Factories once building civilian ships were now mass-producing warships. The first Earth-designed capital ships were being built, ***, not captured alien vessels, but human-made warships ***. The best minds on the planet were working around the clock to improve and adapt Zelvari technology. Because now the strategy had changed. It wasn't about defending Earth anymore. It was about ending the Zelvari Empire. For good. ###, the First Interstellar Human Offensive. The moment the eradication fleet fled, the United Human Forces received their next orders. Earth's first true interstellar war campaign was about to begin. Their first target? A Zelvari-controlled world. Not a small colony. Not a military outpost. A core world. A world deep in the heart of the Zelvari Empire. A world the Zelvari believed was untouchable. Until now. The final message from Earth. Before humanity launched its first offensive strike, a final transmission was sent into the void. Not just to the Zelvari. To the entire galaxy. A declaration. A warning. A promise. We are done waiting. We are done hiding. You invaded our world. You tried to wipe us out. Now? We are coming for you. And for the first time in the history of the galaxy, the Zelvari Empire feared for its survival. Because humanity had declared war. And they did not know how to stop them. The Zelvari Empire had never been invaded. For thousands of years, they had only known conquest, subjugation, and dominance. But now, for the first time in their history, they weren't preparing to take a world. They were preparing to defend one. And their enemy? The same primitive species they had once dismissed as irrelevant. Humanity was coming. And they were bringing war. ##### The target, Zelanair Prime. Zelanair Prime wasn't just another Zelvari world. It was a core world. One of their largest and most heavily fortified planets. A planet-sized fortress. Dozens of orbital defense platforms. Hundreds of Zelvari warships stationed in orbit. A surface bristling with anti-air weapons, plasma artillery, and hardened garrisons. To the Zelvari it was impenetrable. No species had ever dared attack a core world. Until now. Because humanity? They didn't care about the odds. They weren't here to play by the rules of war. They were here to burn an empire down. #### Operation Stormbreaker. The battle for Zelanair Prime. The invasion fleet left Earth in silence. No fanfare. No speeches. No celebrations. This wasn't a victory march. This was a death sentence. No one had ever invaded a Zelvari core world before. There was no historical precedent. For many in the fleet, this mission was a one-way trip. But they didn't hesitate. Because they all knew one thing. If they didn't take the fight to the Zelvari, Earth would never be safe. And so they prepared. 100 human warships, each one a hybrid of Earth and Zelvari technology. 500 drop pods loaded with troops, mechs and supplies. Stealth teams already embedded on the planet, waiting to unleash chaos. This wasn't just an invasion. This was a declaration. A message to the galaxy. #### Phase 1. The False Retreat. The moment human warships entered the system, Zelvari defenses reacted. Hundreds of orbital weapons locked on. The battle stations unleashed plasma fire so intense that space itself seemed to ignite. Humanity's fleet should have been annihilated instantly. But they weren't. Because they had a plan. Instead of engaging directly, the human fleet faked a retreat. They turned their ships away, acting as if they had underestimated the defenses. To the Zelvari it looked like cowardice. They took the bait. Half of their fleet broke formation, pursuing the humans. That's when Earth's real attack force emerged from hyperspace on the opposite side of the planet. The Zelvari had fallen for one of humanity's oldest strategies. And now, they were exposed. #### Phase 2. The Ground Invasion. With half the Zelvari fleet lured away, Earth's true forces descended on Zelanair Prime. The drop pods burned through the atmosphere, streaking across the sky like meteors of war. By the time the first wave of Zelvari defenders even realized what was happening, the humans had already landed. Shock troops hit the ground first, wielding modified plasma weapons and exosuits built for urban combat. Mechs followed, towering machines of war crushing through Zelvari fortifications. Stealth teams activated pre-planted explosives, turning Zelvari bases into fireballs. The fighting was brutal. The Zelvari were veteran warriors, their forces outnumbering the humans 10 to 1. But humans didn't fight fair. They used hit-and-run tactics, ambushes, unpredictable maneuvers. They fought like predators, not soldiers. For every human life lost, 100 Zelvari died. And for the first time in their history, the Zelvari knew fear. #### Phase 3. The Decapitation Strike. The final phase of the invasion was the most daring. Humanity wasn't just here to capture a Zelvari world. They were here to break the empire. The mission was simple. Assassinate the Supreme Governor of Zelanair Prime. It was a suicide mission. The governor was deep inside the planetary capital, protected by thousands of Zelvari elite soldiers. But that didn't stop the Ghost Unit. A team of human special forces, trained for the deadliest missions. They infiltrated the capital at night, slipping past defenses using a mix of human and Zelvari stealth tech. By the time the governor realized they were inside his stronghold, it was too late. A single high-powered railgun shot ended his reign. His bodyguards never even saw it coming. And the moment his corpse hit the ground, the message was clear. Zelvari leadership was no longer safe. Not in their ships. Not in their colonies. Not even on their core worlds. #### The Fall of Zelanair Prime. The moment the governor was confirmed dead, human forces pushed harder. Zelvari forces, already shaken by the brutality of human warfare, began to break, Entire battalions surrendered. Cities fell one by one. And by the time the last major Zelvari command post was destroyed, the battle was over. Zelanair Prime had fallen. It was the first time in history that a core world had been taken from the Zelvari. And the galaxy watched in horror. ###. The Aftermath. humanity's new reputation. The fall of Zelenair Prime changed everything. Across the galaxy, nations reacted. #####1. The terrified ones ****. Many species now saw Earth as a threat. If humans could take a core world, then no empire was safe. The Zorvan hegemony and Qatari dominion immediately began discussing a war against Earth. #####2. The opportunists ****. Other factions wanted an alliance. The Ardent Confederacy, long at war with the Zelvari, sent a formal request for a military pact with Earth. Several independent planetary governments offered technology and support. ####3. The Silent Watchers ****. The oldest and most advanced civilizations remained silent. But their eyes were now firmly fixed on Earth. Because humanity was no longer an upstart species. They were a rising power. And the question now? Would Earth be a force of destruction? Or the galaxy's greatest hope? ####The final transmission from Zelenair Prime. Before humanity left the burning ruins of Zelenair Prime, one final message was sent out. It was simple. It was brutal. And it was a warning. You thought Earth was weak. You thought we would beg. You were wrong. This war ends when we say it ends. And across the galaxy, every species listened. Because for the first time in history, the Zelvari Empire was no longer the hunter. They were the hunted. The fall of Zelenair Prime sent shockwaves through the galaxy. For the first time in its history, the Zelvari Empire had lost a core world. Not to another advanced empire. Not to an uprising of their enslaved species. But to humans. A species that only months before had been considered irrelevant. Now, humanity had become a force that could not be ignored. And the Zelvari High Command would not let this humiliation stand. They prepared for the most ruthless counteroffensive in their history. #### The Zelvari's Last Gamble, Operation Endflame. The Zelvari War Council convened in the ruined remains of their former capital on Zelenair Prime. Their highest-ranking strategists, warlords and fleet commanders gathered in secrecy. The Emperor, his chitinous exoskeleton scorched from the orbital bombardment that humans had inflicted, spoke in a voice filled with venom. The humans believe they have won. They believe we are weak. They believe they have crushed our spirit. His mandibles twitched in rage. They do not understand the depth of our wrath. We will not fight them like a civilized enemy. We will fight them as they fight, without honor, without restraint. We will strike where they do not expect. A holographic projection of Earth and its colonies flickered to life. A plan was unfolding. The Zelvari would not fight this war conventionally. They would strike at humanity's heart. #### The Zelvari's new strategy, terror and extinction. The eradication fleets had failed. The core worlds were no longer safe. So the Zelvari changed their strategy. Instead of fighting humanity head-on, they would strike from the shadows. Instead of massive invasions, they would wage a war of terror. Instead of destroying Earth outright, they would make humanity suffer. The war would become personal. And their first target? Not Earth. Not human military bases. But the new human colonies. #### The attack on Vega Prime. Vega Prime was Earth's first off-world colony. A newly settled world, its population consisted of scientists, engineers and pioneers. It was supposed to be the foundation of humanity's interstellar future. The Zelvari turned it into a graveyard. The attack came without warning. No massive fleet. No planetary bombardment. Just a single Zelvari stealth ship that slipped past human defenses, deploying a bioweapon unlike anything Earth had ever seen. The virus spread in hours. By the time the distress signal reached Earth, it was too late. Vega Prime was silent. Its cities empty. Its people gone. The Zelvari hadn't just attacked humanity. They had committed extermination. And their message was clear. You may have won battles, humans, but we will make you suffer. We will burn your future before it begins. #### Earth's response. No more mercy. The images from Vega Prime hit Earth like a hammer. Tens of thousands dead. No soldiers. No defenses. Just civilians. It was an unprovoked massacre. And humanity? Humanity had always known war. But this was different. This was not a war of conquest. This was extermination. And so, humanity made a decision. There would be no more restraint. There would be no more mercy. The Zelvari would not survive this war. #### Operation Eclipse. Humanity's retaliation. The leaders of Earth convened for a single purpose. to answer Vega Prime with fire. A simple message was broadcast to the galaxy. A message not of negotiation, not of diplomacy, but of vengeance. We offered you war. You chose genocide. Now, we end this. Humanity was done playing defense. The new plan? Break the Zelvari Empire completely. Their first target asterisk. Zelvari Warforged Theta 9. The largest shipyard in the Empire. If humanity destroyed it, they wouldn't just cripple the Zelvari's fleet production. They would bring the Empire to its knees. And so, the first true human interstellar war fleet assembled. 250 warships, each one built from stolen Zelvari tech. Thousands of Earth's best soldiers trained in guerrilla warfare and urban combat. Dozens of experimental human weapons, designed for one thing: maximum destruction. The objective was simple. Destroy the shipyards. Kill anyone who resisted. Leave nothing standing ***. It was not war. It was retribution. #### The attack on Warforged Theta 9. The Zelvari had expected another ground assault. They expected humans to fight like soldiers. They expected another battle like Zelanair Prime. Instead, humanity changed the rules again. They didn't invade. They didn't engage in ship-to-ship combat. They rammed a captured Zelvari dreadnought straight into the station and detonated it. The entire Warforge was consumed in nuclear fire. Zelvari shipyards that had produced thousands of warships were reduced to nothing but floating debris. And as the flames burned across the void, a single human warship broadcast a final message. You took Vega Prime. We took your fleet. We will not stop. You will burn. #### The galaxy's reaction. The destruction of Warforged Theta 9 was the final tipping point. Across the galaxy, empires, factions, and neutral observers reacted. ######1. The Zelvari are fracturing ****. The Zelvari High Command was losing control. Entire colonies began surrendering to humans, believing resistance was suicide. Zelvari military leaders turned on each other, blaming failures in strategy. Some Zelvari factions even began peace talks, an unthinkable act in their culture. #####2. Humanity gains more allies ****. Seeing the destruction of the Warforge, other species began joining Earth's cause. The Ardent Confederacy officially declared an alliance with Earth. Several minor species offered soldiers, resources, and intelligence. For the first time, humanity wasn't alone. #####3. The ancient races take notice ****. The oldest species in the galaxy, ****, the Veilari Ascendancy, the Kavanii Scholars, and the Silos High Council ****, began to speak of Earth in whispers. Because if humanity could do this much damage now, what would they become in a century? Would they be the galaxy's greatest hope? Or its greatest nightmare? #### The war has changed. The Zelvari had tried to terrorize humanity. Instead, they had created a monster. The war was no longer about territory. It was no longer about politics. Now, it was about survival. And as humanity prepared for its next attack, one thing was certain. The Zelvari Empire was dying. And Earth? Earth was only getting started. The Zelvari Empire was crumbling. Humanity had done the impossible. They had defended Earth. They had invaded a core world. They had crippled the Zelvari fleet by destroying Warforged Theta 9. And now, they were going to end the war. Once and for all. #### The target. Zelvaxis, the Zelvari homeworld. Zelvaxis was the heart of the Empire. A world that had never been touched by war. It was heavily fortified, protected by a planetary shield capable of withstanding entire fleets. The last remaining Zelvari warships, pulled back to defend the capital. Millions of ground troops ready to fight to the last. To most, attacking Zelvaxis was suicide. But humanity didn't care. Because they had made a promise. And they were here to keep it. #### Operation Final Dawn. The invasion of Zelvaxis. The largest fleet in human history was assembled. 500 warships, rebuilt with Zelvari technology. Thousands of combat transports, carrying Earth's deadliest soldiers. Experimental weaponry designed to break the planet's defenses. The mission: break the Zelvari. Kill their leadership. Burn their empire to the ground. And make sure they never rose again. #### Phase 1. The False Flag Maneuver. The Zelvari expected the human fleet to arrive from a known jump point. They concentrated their forces there, waiting for the assault. Humanity? They came from the opposite side. A false fleet, consisting of drone warships and captured Zelvari vessels, arrived first. The Zelvari immediately focused their fire, believing it was the real attack. And in that moment, the real human fleet emerged from hyperspace, directly above the Zelvari capital ***. Phase 2, the shield breaker assault. The planetary shield over Zelvaxis was their greatest defense. No fleet had ever been able to crack it. But humans? They had found a way. Deep inside the human fleet, a single warship carried a prototype weapon. Developed in absolute secrecy, this device was based on stolen Zelvari power cores, modified to overload their own shielding technology. The warship dove through enemy fire, delivering its payload directly into the shield network. And in an instant, the shield collapsed. For the first time in history, the skies over Zelvaxis were open to attack. Phase 3, the firestorm. The moment the shield dropped, humanity unleashed hell. Orbital bombardments rained down on military installations, shipyards, and supply depots. Stealth teams infiltrated Zelvari strongholds, planting charges and disrupting communications. Drop pods descended, unleashing Earth's elite ground forces. The Zelvari fought back with everything they had. They were cornered. Desperate ***. But it wasn't enough. Humanity had learned their tactics. They had studied their weaknesses. And they had no mercy left to give. One by one, Zelvari cities fell. One by one, their war machines were destroyed. Until only one target remained. The Imperial Palace. Phase 4, the fall of the Emperor. The last Zelvari leaders gathered in the Imperial Palace, surrounded by their remaining forces. They refused to surrender. They prepared to die fighting. But humanity had other plans. A single strike team, composed of Earth's deadliest soldiers, breached the palace. The fighting was brutal. But in the end, the Zelvari Emperor, once the most powerful being in the galaxy, was dragged from his throne. His once proud empire was in ruins. And as he kneeled before his human captors, a single voice spoke over the planetary communications system. A simple message. A message for every Zelvari, every alien watching, every species that had ever doubted humanity. Your empire is over. Your rule is broken. And your war? It ends today. And with that, the Zelvari Empire fell. Aftermath. A new galactic order. For the first time in history, the Zelvari were no longer rulers. Their once mighty empire was reduced to ruins. Their fleets were gone. Their leaders were dead or imprisoned. And humanity? Humanity now stood among the stars. Not as prey. Not as a backwater species. But as a power no one could ignore. The Galactic Council, once hesitant to even acknowledge Earth, now had no choice but to listen. And the question remained. Would humanity build a new future? Or would they continue their path of war? The galaxy held its breath. Because one thing was certain. The age of humanity had begun. The Zelvari Empire was dead. Their fleets were shattered. Their leaders were either executed or in chains. Their once mighty capital, Zelvaxis, now lay in ruins. And for the first time in history, a new power had taken its place. The aftermath of war. The war had changed everything. Millions of Zelvari surrendered, seeking mercy from their new human overlords. Dozens of enslaved species, once trapped under Zelvari rule, now looked to Earth for leadership. The Galactic Council, once dismissive of humanity, now awaited Earth's next move with both fear and anticipation. The question now was simple. What kind of power would humanity become? Would they be benevolent rulers, guiding the galaxy into a new age? Or would they be tyrants, crushing anyone who stood in their way? The debate on Earth. What comes next? Back on Earth, the leaders of humanity gathered. The war had united them, but now? Now came the hardest decision of all. ###1. The imperialists rule through strength. Some believed that humanity had earned the right to rule. They had crushed an empire. They had conquered entire worlds. They had proven themselves the strongest species in the galaxy. Their argument was simple. We didn't start this war. But we finished it. And if we don't take control now, someone else will. The only way to secure Earth's future is through absolute dominance. These voices pushed for expanding human rule across the galaxy. For turning Earth into an empire. For ensuring that humanity would never be threatened again. ###2. The Peacemakers ***, a new galactic order. Others, however, argued for restraint. They believed humanity should lead but not through fear. We fought this war to survive. We do not need to become the very monsters we destroyed. Instead of conquest they proposed forming an alliance of free worlds, giving former Zelvari subjects a voice. Using human technology and military strength to enforce peace, not expansion. Establishing a new galactic council, one where Earth was the guiding power. It was a bold vision. But was it possible? Could a species born from war now build peace? Or was humanity too dangerous to be anything other than conquerors? ####. The rest of the galaxy reacts. While Earth debated, the galaxy waited. Because the fall of the Zelvari had left a power vacuum. And into that void, new players began to emerge. ######1. The broken remnants of the Zelvari ****. The last war. Not all Zelvari accepted defeat. Scattered warlords and rogue admirals vanished into deep space, gathering forces. Their goal? Vengeance. They swore that one day they would return to reclaim their empire. And in the shadows of the galaxy they began rebuilding. #####2. The other great powers ****. Humanity must be contained. The Zorvan hegemony, the Qatari dominion, and several neutral factions saw Earth's rise as a threat. They gathered in secret, whispering of a coalition against humanity. Because if Earth could destroy the Zelvari, then no empire was safe. If humanity continued to expand, then eventually the whole galaxy would belong to them. And so, plans were made. Deals were struck. A new war, one of politics, sabotage and deception, had begun. ####3. The oldest civilizations take notice ****. The Watchers. The Valari Ascendancy, the Silos High Council, and the Kavanii Scholars, ancient civilizations that had remained neutral for centuries, finally spoke. They had watched the rise and fall of empires. They had seen species ascend to power only to destroy themselves. And now, they watched humanity. For if Earth truly intended to rule the stars, then one question remained. Would they be wise enough to wield such power? Or would they burn the galaxy in their ambition? ####. Humanity's next move. After months of debate, Earth made its decision. A message was sent to every species, every government, every world in the galaxy. A message of warning. A message of promise. We did not seek this war. But we finished it. The Zelvari are gone. Their empire is broken. Their rule is over. We offer peace to those who seek it. But to those who would challenge us, who would threaten Earth, know this. We will not fall. We will not bow. And we will never be prey again. And so, with one war ended, another had already begun. The war for the future of the galaxy itself. Because for the first time in history, humanity stood at the top. And the galaxy would never be the same again. Us then the Zelvari? ****. The war with the Zelvari Empire was over. But the fight for the future of the galaxy had only just begun. Humanity had crushed an empire. They had proven their strength. And now, the rest of the galaxy was afraid. Not just of what humanity had already done, but of what they might become. ####. The galactic powers move against Earth. As the dust settled over the ruins of the Zelvari homeworld, a secret alliance was formed. It was called the Balance Coalition. A temporary pact between the Zorvan hegemony, the Qatari dominion, the Ryloth Syndicate, and several lesser galactic powers. Their goal? To ensure humanity never became the next unstoppable empire. Their methods? Sabotage. Deception. Assassination *****. They would not challenge Earth directly. Instead they would break it from within. And their first target? The United Human Government. #### Earth's fragile rule. With the fall of the Zelvari, Earth had taken control of dozens of former Zelvari colonies. Some species welcomed their new human rulers. Others resented them, viewing them as just another conqueror. Some saw opportunity, believing Earth would be more just than the Zelvari. But one thing was clear, ****, ruling the galaxy was far more difficult than conquering it ****. Rebellions began brewing on the edges of human-controlled space. Assassinations of key human governors sent shockwaves through the fragile new government. And in the shadows? The Balance Coalition was fanning the flames. #### The sabotage of Earth's fleet. It started with a disaster. One of Earth's most powerful war fleets, Task Force Omega ****, was preparing to secure the Outer Rim territories. It was led by Admiral Elias Voss, one of the heroes of the Zelvari War. Then, ****, without warning, Half the fleet's reactors detonated ***. Thousands of human crew members died instantly. Ships vanished into hyperspace and never returned. The galaxy blamed Earth. The rebels blamed Earth. But Earth knew the truth. It was sabotage. And it meant someone was working against them. ###The assassination attempt on the High Chancellor. The United Human Government had barely been formed and already, its leadership was under attack. High Chancellor Naomi Carter, the woman who had led humanity through the Zelvari War, barely survived an assassination attempt in the capital city of Nova Europa. The attacker? A Qatari assassin. A member of the very species that had agreed to peace with humanity. It was a clear message. Earth wasn't safe. And if they didn't act soon, they would fall. ###The formation of the Terran Intelligence Initiative, TII. Humanity was done reacting. The assassinations. The sabotage. The uprisings. Earth needed to strike back. And so, a new branch of the military was created. The Terran Intelligence Initiative, TII. Its mission? Hunt down Earth's enemies before they could strike again. Spy networks were built in every major galactic capital. Covert operations were launched against rebel leaders and terrorist cells. Deep cover agents infiltrated the Balance Coalition itself, searching for its leaders. And Earth's first counterstrike? Would be deadly. ###The Black Ops mission to Zorvan Prime. The Zorvan hegemony was the largest supporter of the Balance Coalition. They had funded the rebellions, the sabotage, the assassinations. So humanity sent them a message. A small team of TII operatives infiltrated Zorvan Prime, the hegemony's capital world. Their objective? Eliminate High Lord Tyrak, the mastermind behind the anti-human coalition. It was a suicide mission. The planet was crawling with security. But the TII agents did not fail. They infiltrated the palace. They executed Tyrak in his own throne room. And as they vanished into the shadows, a simple message was broadcast to every government in the Balance Coalition. You came for us in the dark. Now we come for you. It was the start of a new kind of war. One fought in the shadows. One fought behind enemy lines. And one humanity would not lose. ###The silent war begins. With Tyrak dead, the Balance Coalition descended into chaos. The Zorvan were leaderless. The Qatari scrambled to cover their tracks. But the war was far from over. Because in response to Earth's growing dominance, another force had entered the game. The Velari Ascendancy. One of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. A species that had watched the rise and fall of 1,000 empires. And now, they were watching humanity closely. Because they knew something Earth did not. Something ancient was stirring in the void. Something older than the Zelvari. Something that had wiped out entire civilizations long before humanity ever existed. And if humanity continued its path of conquest, they might wake it up. ###The final message from the Velari. One day without warning, a single Velari warship entered human space. It did not attack. It did not speak. Instead, it transmitted a single message before disappearing back into deep space. A warning. A final chance for humanity to change course. You believe you are the first to rise this far, this fast. You are not. There were others before you. They built empires. They conquered the stars. And then they vanished. We do not know where they went. But we know what took them. And if you continue on your path, you will find it. And just like that, the Velari were gone. Leaving Earth with a question. A choice. Would humanity ignore the warning? Or had they just glimpsed the true enemy? The enemy that had destroyed civilizations before them. And might do so again. The Velari were not known for making contact. For millennia, they had remained silent observers, watching civilizations rise and fall without interference. So when their warship entered human space, ***, just to deliver a warning, ***, Earth took it seriously. Because if the Velari were worried, then something truly monstrous was out there. Something that had erased entire empires before. And now, with humanity expanding faster than any species in history, they might have just woken it up. ###The forgotten records of the dead civilizations. After the Velari's message, the United Human Intelligence Directorate, UHID, launched an investigation. Their target? Ancient civilizations that had mysteriously vanished. And what they found terrified them. Across the galaxy, there were traces of lost empires, entire species that had once been powerful, only to disappear overnight. The Zevkar Dominion, A warlike species that ruled over 200 worlds before their homeworld was reduced to lifeless dust. The Aractor Ascendancy, a species that once rivaled the Zelvari in power. Every planet they had ever inhabited was found completely abandoned. The Ivesi Collective, a species that had built structures capable of withstanding supernova explosions. Their entire star system was now a mass of ruins. And the most disturbing part? Each of these civilizations had one thing in common. They had all expanded aggressively. They had all conquered new worlds. They had all ignored the warnings. And now, they were gone. Erased. As if they had never existed. The expedition to the lost world. Earth's best minds gathered. If something had wiped out these civilizations, they needed answers. And there was only one place that could provide them. A world located on the edge of the galaxy. A world with no name. A world that had once belonged to the Aractor Ascendancy. It had been abandoned for over 50,000 years. And no one knew why. So Earth sent an expedition. A science vessel filled with humanity's best archaeologists and researchers. A military escort in case the past was still dangerous. An AI probe designed to scan for any records of what happened. The mission was simple. Find out what killed the Aractor. And hope that it wasn't still out there. The ruins of a forgotten war. When the expedition arrived, the planet was eerily quiet. Massive ruins stretched across the landscape. Cities so advanced that even with modern technology, humanity couldn't understand them. There were no bodies. No signs of war. No evidence of disease. It was as if the entire population had just vanished. But as the team explored deeper, they found something chilling. A vault. Buried beneath the ruins. Still intact. Still sealed shut. And inside, a warning. The message from the past. The vault's records were damaged, but the AI probe managed to recover part of the last transmission. It was a message from the final days of the Aractor Ascendancy. And it spoke of something horrifying. We thought we were alone in our war. We thought we had conquered all that stood before us. We were wrong. They came from the dark. Not from a world. Not from a fleet. But from beyond. We tried to fight. We failed. If you find this, leave. Leave before they know you exist. Before they return. The recording ended in static. And for a long time no one spoke. Because the implications were terrifying. This message was real. Then whatever had destroyed the Aractor was still out there. Watching. Waiting. And now. It knew about humanity. The nightmare awakens. As the expedition prepared to leave, something happened. A distress beacon activated. Not from the humans. From the ruins. Something inside the vault had turned itself on. And deep in the void, beyond the edges of the known galaxy, something heard it. Something that had been waiting. Something that had once wiped out the Aractor, the Zefkar, and the Ivesi. Something that had been sleeping. Until now. And as the science vessel made its way back to Earth, sensors detected something moving in deep space. Something big. Something ancient. And something hungry. The final message to Earth. As soon as the expedition returned, the warning was delivered. And the leaders of humanity made a choice. The Balanced Coalition? The political games? The Zelvari remnants? None of it mattered anymore. Because something far worse was coming. And if they didn't prepare, they would be wiped out just like the others. A final message was sent to the Galactic Council. A message for every species still alive. You thought we were the greatest threat in the galaxy. You were wrong. Something is coming. Something that has already erased those before us. And if we do not unite, we will be next. And as Earth's warfleets prepared for a battle unlike any before, the first signs of the ancient enemy were detected. Moving. Hunting. Coming for them all. Astros.